Here we go. Okay, hi everyone. This is Ron McKinney with PDD Photo here to talk to you about our conference that is coming up. And along with me right here is Mike Farella, one of our speakers for the conference. And so I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what to expect, what to be prepared for, anything that you should be working on right now. You know, Mike will talk about his experience. He's been, you know, at our first two conferences, as well as our COVID workshop here in Chicago a couple of years ago. That was a lot of fun. Mike, that was your favorite like get together for us, right?
It really was. It was really awesome. It was intimate. It was great. So even in the future, if we, you know, gather at those, really pay attention to those if those come up or come up available for Ron and his team out there in Chicago, have a smaller version of what you would experience. It was really hands-on. You could communicate. It was well done, and plenty of dancers and plenty of great locations for everybody. So pay attention to those. If they ever pop up, you want to jump on those too.
Okay, so for those of you who are new here, my name is Ron McKinney. My wife Beth and I have founded PDD a few years ago. We just felt like there wasn't a community out there for dance photographers, and there should be. And so we kind of created this community and created these conferences and workshops for education, but also for a chance to get together and get to know each other, because even more so than the education, I think the friendships that come out of this, the networking is just absolutely invaluable. So I have a studio in Crystal Lake out in the suburbs of Chicago, and I work primarily with dancers. Probably 70% of my work is with dancers, and then I do, you know, some senior portraits and some athletes, things like that. Mike, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I'm Mike Farella. Like Ron said, I've attended PDD since its inception, and it's been an amazing thing. I am 95% a dance photographer. I have a 2,000 square foot studio in Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is just shy of Charlotte. I've been a dance photographer for 15 years, and I started dancing when I was 14, and I danced and taught for about 16 years. 10 of those years professionally at Walt Disney World as a professional dancer. And every single day I'm shooting dancers in some way, shape, or form here at the studio, and just love what I do.
All right. So the conference is, you know, we advertise it as being July 21 to 23. And just as a heads up, many of you have already obviously booked your travel plans and stuff, but with our conference, we often usually have some photographers coming in early and doing some of their own shoots, as well as staying later. Like the conference ends at 5 p.m. on Sunday, and if you want to do additional shoots that evening, we of course have our own post-conference shoot that evening from I forget what time it starts, at 5:30 or something, going to 9 or something like that. But, you know, you guys are also welcome to, you know, create your own shoots as well. I know that's always a lot of fun. Chicago is a pretty cool place to shoot. We're right in the heart of downtown, just across the street from Grant Park. You know, if you, 1 block away is the L train, you know, and some really good urban spots to do shoots as well. I guess, you know, I want to talk about some new things for this year. And the first thing is that we still have a few people who haven't finished with the background checks and the code of conduct and the safety videos. Almost everybody has, though. That's just a little change that we did. Well, I call it little, but it's actually pretty big. We've been working on safety since the inception of our conferences, and much of what we did has been happening behind the scenes. So not everybody was really aware of what we were doing. We weren't really sharing it, but you know, we were like putting in a lot of measures just to ensure dancer safety, you know, throughout the conference, and to teach the photographers, especially those unlike Mike, you know, people more like myself who've never worked with dancers before, because there are things that you wouldn't know. Dancers often make things look so easy, and you're asking them to jump or something on concrete 20 times, and that's just not good for their body. So, you know, that's just part of like some of the things that we're teaching you through our safety course there. As we do this, I'm going to be watching the Q&A for any questions that people have. And Jeff, I will be getting to yours in just a little bit. One of the first things I want to talk about is what to wear. Okay, in the past we did these in February and March, and we were lucky in Phoenix. It was quite warm, but it was pretty chilly in Austin at our last one. But we're going to be in the summer in July, and like right now the temperatures are like 75 degrees here as a high, which is just absolutely perfect. You know, but it could get into the 90s. It could be pretty warm. We try to do a lot of our like photo shoots during the day indoors during this conference, but we you know, obviously have things going on outdoors as well. Mike, you know, like what do you wear when you go to these things here?
Well, I usually run pretty warm, so cold weather doesn't bother me. But if you're typically a cold person, bring a jacket so you're prepared for everything. Bring jeans. You know, be yourself. This is a time where you get to express yourself through not only your art and communicate with people. You want to be presentable, but you want to be comfortable. You're spending long days in and out of classrooms. Some of the breakout session rooms get really cold, so you want to have that jacket available to you. You're not going to run around in shorts and a t-shirt. You're not going to be comfortable just because you're moving about a lot and you're communicating and you're networking. You know, we're all a bunch of photographers, and the great thing about Deux, it's built a community of photographers that are of like-minded people. So you're going to be talking with people, so you want to present and represent yourself in a good manner, but you want to be comfortable too, because you're up and you're down, you're sitting, you're moving, you're on location, you're doing photo walks. So be prepared for anything, but jeans and a t-shirt, man, I love it.
Yeah, but you do have to remember though that inside sometimes the air conditioning can be up a little bit high, so you know, sometimes it gets a little bit chilly indoors.
Sure does.
Okay, another thing that we're doing new this year is a gala fundraiser for a local Chicago dance group that helps provide like health benefits to dancers here in the area. So we're going to be doing some auctions there. We'll be getting together like the dresses. You know, we want you to kind of dress up a little bit. So, you know,
I'll be wearing my tux.
Exactly. Exactly. My wife has something, you know, for me, so that'll be nice. But there'll be some music. Obviously, we'll be having a dance performance there. You know, our dancers will be preparing a number to perform there. And it just, you know, should be a lot of fun. It's all going to be free. For the photographers who want to go to that. I think that should be, it's going to be fun. I just like to add, you know, we like to add new things and just see how people, you know, take to it. But being able to benefit a local group too is really important to us. Next up, portfolio reviews. If you guys haven't signed up for a portfolio review, I think there might still be some open spots. I haven't like taken a look at it or talked to Beth about it, but the portfolio reviews is really an opportunity for you to bring usually like 6 to 10 pictures. You only have 10 minutes, you know, that you'll have with a speaker, and so, you know, to me it's more important to go through a few pictures than to go through a bunch. And the idea is not to bring your best pictures that are meant to impress the person that you're working with, but rather bring some pictures where things went wrong and just, you know, get some feedback on what you could have done differently. What are your thoughts on the portfolio, Mike? I know, I think, who did you do them with before?
Oh my gosh.
Did you do them before?
I did do them before, but their names, if they're not sitting right in front of me, I would probably forget them. So I apologize.
Well, what was it
about
like?
that.
Was it helpful for you?
It was super helpful. You know, the feedback that I got at my level, what I was looking for was a little bit different. Obviously, I know I'm well into my industry. So the information I was looking for is, how do I get past this and to the next level? We're all looking to, how do I get to the next level? How do I take what I have and what I'm doing and improve on it to be better in the future? And that's what I'll be looking for when I'm doing any of my portfolio reviews. Is I'll be looking, we can't change what has been done because you're presenting it to us. So my advice will be, how can you accelerate and move to the next portion of your career from basing it off of what you're showing me? So I'll be really looking at, what tips and tricks can I give you from my 15 years of experience, and give those to you to be able to increase your next portfolio review.
How many images would you like them to bring? Knowing that you only have 10 minutes.
I can get a pretty good idea within 10 images of someone's portfolio and what their body of work would look like. 10 to 15 tops.
Okay. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about photo walks. And Franklin here has a question about photo walks and outdoor location lighting. He's asking about bringing a Godox AD200. And my thing is that, like, when I go outdoors with a dancer, I always carry a light. I actually have the 8600. I like to have a little bit more power, and I have a softbox on it. And but like in these situations, the AD200 is a really good option. Number one, it's lightweight. It's just going to be easy to be carrying with you, because you're going to be huffing it all weekend long. And the last thing you want to do is get worn out by Saturday morning. So that's my thought. What are your thoughts on that, Mike? I know that you're leading a photo walk. What are you expecting?
As far as gear is concerned, I am going to focus more on framing within framing. I see a lot in today's outdoor photography that we're really caring about the dancer, but we're lacking seeing the overall vision of how the dancer is supported and framed by architecture or structure or lines and balancing of those lines. I'm not a gear person. I'm not an overwhelming gear. You're not going to find me with a ton of gear. I'm going to use ambient lighting. I'm going to find ways to have a camera and be able to just really focus in on the dancer and hear what everybody else is doing. If you are going to bring something, a lot of these photo walks have a lot of photographers on them and 2 or 3 dancers. And like Ron said, we're going to move from one location to another location really quickly. And you might not have that one-on-one availability to interrupt the entire group of the photo walk to put up your light stand and your modifier and get it all situated, communicate with the dancer. That might happen. It might not happen. So carrying a ton of gear is just going to bog you down. And by the end of the day, I need 5 minutes to run this back up to my room because I'm really not using it. So it's a balance. I say a flash and a transmitter and hand it to somebody and say, will you hold this light right there for me real quick? Great. Got it. All right. And then move on.
Yeah, I'm actually running a photo walk that's designed to, how to deal with the midday sun, and so I will have a light, but I'll be honest with you, when I'm out in the midday sun, I'm looking for as many ways as I can get a shot of somebody without having to use light. But that's true also later in the day. It doesn't really matter what time. I try to use natural light as much as possible. But sometimes you need that light. And so I'm going to show them, how to look for places where you don't have to use light, even in the midday. And obviously that means I'm looking for shade. And then secondly, I'm going to show, okay, here's how light can, make the images look even better. So, okay, yeah, and Steve, that's right, AD300, AD200, any one of those types of lights, I really do think that, like we're going to try and stay out of the midday sun, with the exception of my walk. So you don't need a powerful light, I don't think anyway. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about our pre-conference, and that's going to be Thursday. We have a couple of things going on. We have a photo walk going on. Mike, I believe you're part of that too, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. And so we're going to do a really long walk. So if you're going to be part of this, you know, you need to be in shape, or, you know, maybe just say, okay, I'm going to do part of it, or something like that. Cause we're going to start at Grant Park and work our way all the way through the river walk. So it's probably, I don't know, 3 to 4 miles, something like that. Obviously we're not just going to walk. We're going to stop and, you know, take pictures along the way. But I think that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be our one opportunity on the weekend to get to the river walk.
Awesome.
You know, the rest of all the shoots are going to happen right around the hotel, which means Grant Park, and then just in the urban area, just right around Grant Park in the downtown area. We got the L coming right by there. It's going to look really cool.
Can I touch base on that real quick, Ron?
Sure, absolutely.
And there's also another question from Albert about what lenses to bring. You know, in dance, I've seen a lot of lenses used. First and foremost, not everybody has all the lenses, you know, and they're not going to go out and buy lenses. So one, bring your favorite lens. I typically shoot with 2 lenses. When I'm outdoors, I shoot with a very, very, very small, like a 1.4, 1.2, 1.8, somewhere in there. That's my favorite lens to shoot from. It gives me a great bokeh and depth of field when I'm shooting outdoors. It allows me to be light and movable with my camera. I also bring a 70-200. That's also a great lens to use that will bring the backdrop closer to you as a telephoto lens. Has a low 2.8, you know, 2.8, 70-200 is a great lens. But the best lens is the one that you have with you. And you can do anything with anything. You know, once you learn about lighting and technique and framing and composition and the golden curves and all those things, you can do anything you want to with whatever lens you have and whatever flash you have. And the beauty about the photo walk, you want to be mobile, and because dancers are mobile. And if you see something really quickly, you don't want to have to pick up your camera bag and pick up your lighting and change your lens and go grab your flash and all that other stuff. That's meant for a personal and private one-on-one photo session with you and your dancer. It's not typically meant for this type of environment. We're going to be instructing. We're going to be looking over everybody's shoulders. We're going to come together as a community. And Ron's demonstrating there in his pack there. That's great.
This is all I carried. You know, like I've got room for a lens right here. I've got my extra batteries right here. I've got my trigger right here, and I'll usually like put my phone in there or something like that. And this is what I do. And then I carry my light stand with me as well. And this is it, you know, and you know, so that's you know, that's what I think we should be doing. And I agree, like the number one thing you want in a situation like this, we're going to have Sony there, we're going to have Canon there and Nikon. You're going to be able to borrow lenses from them if you want to. But it's just like what Mike was saying. I mean, you don't want to like bulk yourself down with gear. It's better to just, you know, take what you're used to. Okay. Steve, I hear you about Riot Fest. We've been in touch with the parks, you know, for working on our permits and stuff. Everything is going to be fine. So we don't have to worry about that. So thank you for mentioning that though. Let's see. Just checking some of the things here. Okay. Run and gun on the photo walks, Paul. That's that's basically it. But also, you know, I want to drive this home. Like the photo walks, a lot of them were just an hour and 15 minutes during the conference. And I'm asking my speakers to keep it in mind that it's really this is not a situation where you want to try to hit up 40 spots, as many spots as you can within that hour. That's really not what it's about. It's really about just finding a few places and then talking about why you're doing it, setting up these models and getting some really amazing shots. To me, it's always about quality over quantity. You know, when you start thinking shoot, change, to me, you're going to be missing out on things. Okay.
It's all about the community. It's all about building and doing things that you don't normally do, trying different things. You know, these dancers are coming to you and they're not paying you and you're not paying them. So try something different. Don't come into this convention and try to do things that you've already done. Try to do things different. This is a testing ground to experience amazing dancers with amazing talent that you may not typically get in your own pool, and try something different. Try different lenses, try different lighting patterns, try different angles. If you're used to standing up, lay down on the ground and try a different angle. That's what this is about when you go on these photo walks.
Okay, I want to jump over to Tim. We're going to be doing 2 sunrise shoots, one on Friday, one on Saturday. And I just want to say that we still have a few open spots too. If you guys can get in on that's amazing. You know, Mike was there when we did the sunrise shoot, 2 years ago with our workshop at the Adler Planetarium, and it is just unbelievably amazing. And if we're lucky and we're blessed, we get a good day.
This beauty right there.
There you go. That's exactly right. Yep. And that was more, that was not right at sunrise. That was probably about 40 minutes after sunrise right there. And that's the beauty of it. Oftentimes when we start, in fact, since you showed yours, here's one of my favorite shots. Whoops. I can't even there we go.
There it is. I see it.
Yeah.
And that really goes to the statement that Rod made, is you're looking for quality over quantity. You don't want to go back home with 5,000 images and go, wow, I have 5,000 images I have to go through.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
But it's going to be amazing. So Tim Deibler just asked a very good question. Is there going to be a shuttle to the planetarium, or do we need to drive ourselves? And I don't think you should drive yourself. At that early in the morning, there usually are parking spots. There's a Beyonce concert on Saturday evening, so I don't know if they're going to shut down the parking on Saturday morning. They sometimes do that for big events, but I would recommend that you guys Uber over there and everybody arrive at 5 o'clock in the morning. You can actually walk. It's about a 40-minute walk from our hotel. When I was a speaker at ClickCon a few years ago, I actually led a group all the way to the Adler Planetarium and then back within my time frame. I don't know what they gave me, obviously more than 2 hours. But you can walk, but doing an Uber or something like that probably is the best way to go. I'll try to get some more information. I'm still talking to the parks people a little bit more this week. And so if I have more information about parking, I'll get it out to everybody. Okay, so Paul says Riot Fest is in September. Yep. Cool. Yep. I already knew that there weren't any problems with Grant Park because I've been in touch with the city about that, obviously. Okay, James Porter asked a very good question, and he says, based on the code of conduct, what hours and days are off limits for personal one-on-one shoots? Okay, what has happened is that in our first couple of conferences, photographers would go and talk to the models and set up their own personal sessions outside of our control, if you will. And we're very careful about, how much time we're giving each dancer to model throughout the day, because at the end of it, I guarantee you, they are going to be tired. And in the past 2 conferences, we've had models who had to drop out of what they were scheduled for because they were tired from doing these other shoots that they've been doing, and it's unsafe, and we're not really understanding or watching what's happening. We don't know what's going on. So the answer to your question, James, is that from the morning that we start on Friday morning until we end on Sunday at 5, there's no shoots that you can set up outside the scope of our conference. Now, you can set up lots of shoots. We've got lots of photo walks, portfolio building events. I mean, you're not going to have any shortage of doing shooting. But if you want to set up your own shoot, it needs to be, you know, like Sunday after the conference or before Friday. Okay. Let's see. Kyle, yours is kind of an individual question, but I'll go ahead and answer it. He just asked. He just registered a few days ago. In fact, Beth told me, you know, that she saw your registration. I'll check with her to see about, you know, whether the safety video is out to you and all that. The one thing you should be doing, and this is good for everybody to know, if you've joined our conference, we have an app called Guidebook, okay? And so you should get on your phone and download the Guidebook app. Once you've downloaded the Guidebook app, you do a search for the PDD 2023 conference, and that will give you all the information that you need. It will allow you to sign up for events. So that's kind of like a key piece for you. And I think we're going to be doing some communicating to everyone, you know, through that. So be sure that you have access to that. I'll go ahead and answer Jeffrey now. He asked this question a long time ago, and that's about rental lighting. You know, I'm still in the process of working on that, Jeffrey, but you know, like last time, the retail store that we had was right there in Austin. And so it was pretty easy for us to set that up. And this time, you know, that's just not the case. So you may need to rent on your own. One thing that you can do is you know, like use one of those companies like Borrow Lenses or something like that, and they can ship to you to go there, or they can even ship to the Hilton, and it can be held at the Hilton. So that's probably the best way of doing those. Another thing too is, you know, the truth is, this is what's happening, because Mike talked about the community, and you, Mike, I think you can probably speak to this. How many times have we walked up to a group of people and they're sharing lighting?
Almost every time. Almost every time. It's a community of, oh, you need a lens here, try this lens, and try this, and try that, and try this lighting. Oh, I'm gonna use this over here, you can use my lighting. And it's a community. That's what PDD is all about. It's community.
Yeah. Well, what'll happen a lot of times is somebody will set up their lights. I mean, I walked up to a place where there were like 6 different lights set up, and you know, there's only so many shoots they'll sit there and say, here, use mine, you know, do it. So,
yep.
So you know, you'll get that a lot. And the thing is, you're not going to need a lot of lighting for most of it. You know, I try to shoot as much off the lighting as possible. And yeah, Kyle, I'll check up on that signup.com. I'm making a note of it right now. So I'll follow up with you on that. Yeah, let me get that to you. And I'll get that to you today, okay? Steve just asked about his 24-to-120 lens being a good walk around lens. I think that's awesome. Mike, what do you think?
I agree. That's a great lens.
Yeah. Yeah.
One and done.
Exactly. Make it easy.
Make it easy.
Okay.
I will tell you, if I'm indoors, I'm walking around with a 70-200. If I'm outdoors, I'm walking around with an 85 1.2.
See, I'm not that, you know, like I keep my 85 in the studio. So I'm 24-70 and the 70-200 outdoors. You know, yeah. So I have one on the camera, one in my pouch at all times, easy switch, and it covers everything.
It's all about what you're looking for, but one lens is perfect. That's
it. And we're all different. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. Just because that's what I do, that doesn't mean it's the right thing for everybody. That's just me. Okay, next thing, on that pre-conference on Thursday, Judy Host is doing a fine arts workshop at the Hilton. So it'll be in the Hilton, and that's from 4 to 8 p.m. as well. And there are still some openings for that one there. Okay. Let's see. There's also the post-workshop, the post-conference workshop, the rain workshop here at my studio on Monday. It's going to go from like 10 o'clock until I think like 4:30 or so. So, you know, still gives you time to get out of town if you need to get out of town on Monday. But we'll be doing the rain session, you know, like right here. I could probably take you over and show you the setup. It's already set up, ready to go. But that'll be a lot of fun. You'll get opportunities to shoot. So if you want to shoot some, you can definitely do that. Okay. Next up. Oh, Mike, you're gonna love talking about this one. You may have another picture to show them. So one of the reasons I wanted to do it at the Chicago Hilton is because they have a room there called the Normandy room that is just amazing to shoot inside. You know, when we were in Austin, especially with the bad weather, they're just, you know, like the indoors just wasn't really, there just wasn't really any cool places to shoot. I mean, people were making the best out of the situation, which was awesome. But here at the Hilton, we've got two amazing places to shoot. And one is the Normandy room. And then the other one is this main ballroom that's just absolutely, it's golden is what it is. And it's got all these chandeliers. And we have that both Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So all you need to do is sign up for those, you know, to go in there. And I just think you have an amazing opportunity. Mike, what were your thoughts on that?
I do. As a matter of fact, I do have a picture that is sitting right here. Right. I'll pull another one off my wall. And a lot of other people got this picture as well, but this tall beauty was shot in the window in the Normandy room. And it's just an amazing, there's this beautiful, and you can see how tall it is.
Yep.
This beautiful light that just blasts through the windows, and it makes a great little silhouette. And, you know, you stick a dancer in front of there and just have them play around for a while, and it's amazing. And, you know, the gold room was beautiful as well. We didn't have as much access to it on the last go around. I think it was closed. It was like 150 degrees in there. And we went in there for 5 seconds and snuck in there and got in trouble and all that good jazz.
We did. We weren't supposed to be in there, but we went in there anyway. But this time you're allowed to be in there. It's legal. And it's going to be pretty amazing. It's going to be fun. Okay. Let's see. What's the next thing I want to talk about? Let's see. Oh, you know, like another thing that's going to be really fun is on Friday night at the welcome reception. We will be announcing the winners for the, you know, 2023 Potted photo competition. And even if you didn't enter in that, that is something for you to come to. I mean, obviously it's going to be our welcome reception anyway, but you will want to be there. It is a lot of fun. We get really excited for, you know, everybody who wins. They get to go up onto the podium and, you know, get cheered. It's just so much fun.
It's kind of a good time. There's a lot of yelling, a lot of clapping, a lot of hooting and hollering. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yep. And we'll be on Instagram Live for those, you know, who aren't able to make the conference, but they entered in the competition, want to see how they did or see who the winners are. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. So we're kind of like, you know, I'm going to see if Mike has anything else to say, but we're kind of, you know, like toning down now. Like, I'm not sure what else to say. If you have any friends, we still are open for registration. Jeffrey, we need lighting for that room. Yes and no. Yeah. I mean, there are places where lighting I don't think I used a light on any shot because it was up on the balcony. It's a little bit tight and you're shooting long a lot. So I don't even know that I use any lighting in there.
You won't have, if you shoot on the second level, you won't have room for a light and a dancer. It just won't work.
Yeah.
So no to that.
Yeah, because if you did use a light, a lot of times it'd just be you know, like right with you, you know, going this way because it's kind of a thin balcony that you're working off of. You'll see. I got great shots without any lighting, and
you know, with today's cameras and you know how high the ISO goes. I mean, if you like lighting and you're a lighting person and you want to add light to all of your subject matter, then you're a lighting guy. Bring lighting. If you're not, with today's ISOs and low apertures, you can shoot anything anywhere.
Yeah. All right. If you guys have any other questions, right now is a chance to, like pop it in there and let us know. But we're starting to wind down now. We're just really excited about, this conference. We have a lot of new speakers this year. Mike being one of them. This is his first year as a speaker. We're going to have like a track for volume. We're going to have a track for more like artistic. We're going to have a track for business, so we're going to have pretty much like any classes that you might want to have. I think they're going to be covered. And in the past, we've had like 6 classes going per time. So it was really, really hard. There was always a class or 2 or 3 even that you wanted to be in at a time that you couldn't be in because you picked another one. And so this will kind of lighten that up a little bit. Now there's only 3 others that you won't be able to attend. Yeah, I know, John Mark. Who is this Farella guy? What's going on there? Does anybody else want to like jump on here and share any experiences from their first couple of conferences? If so, just mention on the Q&A and I'll get you up on there. Alan is asking about the dress code for the evening event again. Is a jacket recommended? And I think so, yes. I think we're trying to get a little bit, it's not completely formal or anything like that, even though Mike's going to be in a tux. I guess, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love that.
It's going to be fun. I mean, how many opportunities do you get to dress up? I'm in a t-shirt every day.
Exactly. That's fun though. But yeah, jackets, like recommended. We're just gonna dress up a little bit and have some fun. Paul is asking about breakfast and lunch being available at the various locations. We have lunch available all 3 days. And we'll have like coffee and stuff at a lot of other like morning events, but I don't know that we have breakfast at all of them. At the gala, there will be, things to eat. It'll be a little bit later, so it won't be dinner, but it'll be like a lot of like desserts or snacks or, things like that.
And the hotel has a main area. It has a Starbucks in there, has a little cafe. And so there's plenty. And within like 1 block, walking distance of that hotel is just about anything you can desire for food.
Lou Malnati's is like a block and a half away, and it's almost like illegal for you not to come to Chicago and not have some Lou Malnati's. The problem is you can't do it during the conference because it takes a little while. You don't want to miss anything. And Lynn, I'm going to ask Beth about where the events are for Thursday and Monday. That might be what Kyle was asking about with signup.com. But I will find that out for you as well. And I'm going to be sending an email out this afternoon to everybody, kind of like giving a lot of the information that we talked about today. I'll try to see if I can get this information and add that to it when I send the email out today. So that'll help both you and Kyle and anybody else, because if you guys have those questions, others do as well. I'll be joining your post-conference at your studio. I booked the Hilton Hotel for 1 more night. Just wonder if you can help connect if anyone would like to share an Uber ride. People are going to want to share an Uber ride. So I would put that out to the group. The Metra train does come to within 2 to 3 miles of my studio. So you can actually take the Metro train all the way out here and then just take an Uber just here to the studio or something like that. Those are some options. But what I would do if I were you is put it in the Facebook group, and somebody will want to do that. Bob is saying how many photographers are registered and how many dancers. We switched this summer and we were hoping to have that it would allow more photographers to attend, and I'm not really sure why, but we didn't get as many attendees as we had expected. So we're going to have probably in the vicinity of around 150 or so. And just to kind of put that in perspective for you, for both Phoenix and Austin, we were in the vicinity of 200 to 230. So there's going to be fewer, which is going to be great. You're not going to be, you know, elbowing for resources there. So that's really kind of nice. Dancers, I think we actually have our most dancers, you know, that we've ever had, which is again going to be nice. I want to guess we have about 80 set up right now, somewhere in that ballpark, including 2 professional dancers. I've always tried to get like some high-level professional dancers, and this time we do have them. Ann O'Donnell, who just retired from 11 or 12 years with Martha Graham, is going to be modeling with us, and then Marissa Stark, who is with the Nashville Ballet, is also the daughter of one of our attendees, Chris Stark. Well, he'll be doing speaking as well. Chris Stark is going to be modeling as well. Let's see. Werner Meyer. Hey, Werner, how you doing? He's right here in Chicago with me. How do we know if your office is research? We receive all that information, and we reach out to you if we didn't get it. Is there a chance to sell old equipment? Bob, what a great question, man. What a great question. Let's talk about the trade show now. Our trade show is probably the biggest it's ever been. We're going to have Used Photo Pro there, who will buy, you know, your equipment and Robert's camera in case you want to turn that into some new equipment. They'll be there to sell some gear. There in their booth will be a Pro Photo representative. We are going to have 2 print companies, H plus and McKinney will be there. Wow, we're gonna have 2 software companies, Photo Day and Done.Photos will be there. Let's see, Stella Pro Lights is going to be there. It's gonna be pretty amazing. So I'm pretty excited. We're really going to ask, especially since we're so short on people, that you guys really go in and talk to them and spend some time with them. You know, I'll be putting that out in our communications as well. All right, let's see. I think I've gotten gotten to the end of the questions. Mike, any final thoughts? Any final suggestions that you might have?
Yeah, condition yourself. These are long days. They might be longer than you're used to, and you have to factor in how much input you're taking in, and that plus long days equals a lot of tiredness. So prepare yourself between now and then to wake up early and stay up late, especially a couple of days right before the conference. Be prepared to take notes all the time, and whether it's on your phone or a little journal that has a little pen or pencil in it, keep it with you at all times. You know, maybe I used to stick a little 3x5 card and a pen in my back pocket, because when you're on a photo walk, again, you don't want to carry all that stuff with you. You jot something down so that way you can go back to your room and remember it later. Just be prepared for a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of community, and just a whole lot of laughter. You will wake up and every single day you'll see dancers smiling, people smiling, just because it's like-minded people doing like-minded things, sharing with one another about how to be better in their community. There's so much work for everyone out there. There's so many dancers. There's over 58,000 dance studios across America. And with 150 people attending the conference, there's plenty of work for us all out there. Just learn, you know, there's that old saying, if you teach a person how to fish, they'll never go hungry. Same thing here. If you teach someone how to work their lights and their cameras and work with dancers, you will never not have a dancer to photograph in this country.
And you know, and I can't agree more. Like, I live in a pretty heavily populated area, you know, here in Chicago, and I can't even, there is no way I can service all the dance schools that are here. And I know, some of the other dedicated dance photographers in the area, and we are really good friends. We communicate with each other, and there's just no need for competition because there's just too many dance schools for us to handle. But here it is, okay? When you're going to show up to the conference, and for some of you, it's going to be your very first conference, and all these people are going to be new to you, and you're going to, like maybe be a little bit shy or introverted or something like that. But it's just like what Mike just said, we're all like-minded people. There's one thing that you can count on that we have in common, and that's dance, our love for dance and love for dance photography. If you go to Imaging USA and there's 10,000 people there, you get swallowed up by that thing. You look around and there's all these people, and they're, some of them are laughing and talking and walking by you, and a whole group is just walking by you, and nobody even like looks you or anything because they're all going somewhere, and there's just so doggone many of them. And even if you did talk to them, what kind of photographer are they? Like sometimes you're just completely on different ends of the photography world. Well, at our conference, everybody has the same thing in common, and all you have to do, like if you're there and you're new, and you see somebody else just standing there, just walk up to them and say, "What's your favorite kind of photography? With dance." What kind do you like to do? And it will just open up a conversation. It can't help it. But more importantly, I just want you to like don't feel like, okay, I don't want to introduce myself. I really want you to like step out of your comfort level if you're not comfortable doing it, and just go out there and just start introducing yourself to people and just start talking. Mike, what kind of recommendations do you have for somebody who's brand new at the conference, and they're showing up, they don't know anybody? How do they get to know people beyond what I just said?
The best way to kind of break the ice, if you will, is sit next to someone that you feel comfortable with. We all have a certain level of comfort when we see people out. That's our first initial way of saying, "Ooh, I can sit next to that person." Sit next to someone and just introduce yourself. Show them your badge. Be like, "Hey, I'm Jen," and show them your badge and just say, "Where are you from?" Find a way. If you're an introvert, just start easing up to the front row, and don't be, if you have a question, raise your hand and ask that question. If there's an opportunity, take your camera out, and don't be afraid to ask the speakers. We're all here to help. That's a great way. And a lot of us who have been there multiple times know a lot of people, and we can connect you with someone of like-minded persons, or even in the same area. So if you're afraid to sit or ask someone that's in the community, go to one of the speakers that have a speaker shirt on or a speaker badge on and say, "Hey, I would really like to meet some people. I'm from the East Coast. Do you know anybody over there?" And that speaker will maybe be able to connect you with somebody else.
And it's just so cool to see all the friendships that come out of this. And sometimes they're like close to each other, and it's really easy to refer to each other. By the way, I don't know how much Mike knows this, but I did a photo shoot on Sunday in downtown Chicago where I got hired by a client for the 13-year-old girl. Her name's Naya, and her 8-year-old little sister doing her first photo shoot. Her name's Lena. And as always, I say, because they're actually from Crystal Lake, but they live somewhere in the East Coast now. And I always ask them, I say, "How did you find me?" And they said, "Oh, we did this shoot with this really nice guy from Exulting Images, Mike." They did a rain session with him, and
That's awesome.
And so he said, "Oh, if you want a photo shoot in Chicago, talk to Ron." And so that's the beauty. That's the beauty of community. Like they probably never, even though they're from Crystal Lake, they may have never like found me if Mike hadn't directed them to me. I love what Robin Miller here writes in the Q&A. I don't know if you guys are able to see them or not, but she says, "I'll never forget listening to the opening speakers at our first conference in Phoenix. I was feeling emotional that these are people who understand my love for the challenge of shooting dance." And she's, of course, very excited for next week. And that's so true. John Mark Stevens said, "If you're shy, find him." I'm shy too, wallflower, you might say. you would never know it talking to him that he's shy. You know, he can say that if he wants, I suppose.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm really excited. It's always like the best weekend of the year for us. It's just going to be so much fun. So thank you all for being here. Mike, any last words before we say bye?
I'm ready to have some fun, y'all. It's a good time.
All right. So thank you for being on here. And we'll see you in just like 8 or 9 or 10 days. See you soon.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.